I'm Scott Hoyman. I've been asked to share a little about the Caprikorn Farms Sonnen breeding program. The question I'm really asked is, how do you end up with the heaviest milking Sonnens in the U.S.? And I wish I could give you a one-sentence answer, but it's not quite that easy. The first thing I think is we were willing to turn our backs on show ring glory and focus on milk. No man can serve two masters. You see a lot of Sonnen ads saying we're breeding for milk and show. Good luck with that. Every fall you got to choose your buck, and there's going to be a guy who's showier, and there's going to be a guy who's milkier. And we go with the guy that's milkier. And most of our fellow club members, I would say almost all of them, go with the guy that's showier. The breeding program basically has got three prongs. Number one, we've been on DHI for almost 40 years. So we're keeping the highest milking does and we're letting the lowest milking does go. So if you took the tallest half of the humans on the planet and eliminated the lower half, 30 years from now, humans are taller. Number two, the USDA keeps track of all of the does that are in milk in the entire country. So I go through the USDA printouts, send out a bunch of letters, and hopefully bring in the son of the milkiest guy from the outside. Sometimes have to bring in 4 in 1 year just to get one good one. And number three is the pricing. The does in the catalog and on the website are priced from top to bottom, mostly in accordance with their ability to milk. It's not just milk, it's fat percent, protein percent. And the lower ones tend to get bought. There's a lot of goat farmers who just figure, well, I'm going to buy 20 head. And really they're on the wrong track, because you want the heavy milking ones, but they're generally, over the years, with some exceptions, usually the customer who wants to buy 10 or 12 is going to buy the 10 or 12 cheapest, which means that automatically, without us doing anything, the 10 or 12, 20, 40, whatever it is, that are milking the least are leaving, and the better ones are staying and multiplying. So it's easy enough to say you're going to breed for milk. It's easy enough to make that decision, but lots of people did back when we started. So how did we end up? Basically, the short version is we used the same criteria that the cow people used. You know, there's cow herds with 9,000 cows and 23 guys working full time, and if they can get their production up by just a measly 100 pounds per cow per year, that translates into millions and millions of dollars for them. So a long time ago, a genius called George Wiggins down at USDA developed a new computer program, and he tried it out on goats first, and then he adapted it to cows. And in the cow form now, they talk about net merit dollars, but it's just really the goat program that's been tweaked. So the short way for me to explain that is, actually it's quite difficult to explain it if you've never taken statistics, but I'll put it to you this way. You got Susie Q, and she's milking 2,400 pounds. And the goats that kidded about the same time as she did are doing 2,200. This is set to mature equivalent. Susie Q is a plus 200 for the USDA in predicted transmitting ability milk, PTAM. Now your neighbor's got Mary Lou, and she's milking 4,000. And the does that kidded around the same time as Mary Lou are milking 3,800. Well, Mary Lou is still a plus 200 pound goat, because 80% of the raw number, that 4,000 or that 2,400, is management. So what the USDA computer's doing is filtering out the management and getting to the genetics. And what you want to bring into your herd is the best genetics. You don't care what the dam milked in Montana, where they got fabulous alfalfa and they got fabulous weather. What you want to know is what the milk production increase or decrease in your own herd is going to be. Now, I hate to make it complicated for you, but Susie Q's got ancestors, and some of them have been on test, and she may be old enough to have daughters that are on test. Each one of those animals that was on test is being measured by USDA against what Dr. Wiggins calls the management group, which is the does that kidded around the same time as she did. Mature equivalent, so it's a level playing field. And if Susie Q's daughters are beating the pants off of her herd mates, then Susie Q's plus 200 is going to get kicked up. And if Susie Q's daughters are under milking her herd mates, and trust me, Susie Q's got 1 dam and 2 grand dams. You can take this to the bank. If those does were on test and they undermilked their herd mate, Susie Q's PTAM is being lowered, and the USDA computer links every sonin, no matter how distantly related to Susie Q, in a giant spider web, so that when some doe in Montana that you never heard of is falling flat on her face compared to her herd mates, that trickles down and slightly lowers Susie Q's genetic score. Now, I hate to make it even more complicated for you, but the USDA also knows what the percent fat and the percent protein in every one of those animals is. And we dairy farmers don't get paid by straight milk. A few of us do. And those of us who are making cheese don't get paid by cheese based on the volume of milk. What makes cheese is fat and protein as well as the milk. And what makes the monthly milk check is fat and protein as well as the milk. So now USDA has gone to the extra step, and they've taken the percentage fat and the percentage protein, folded it into the predicted transmitting ability milk. And that's where they get their number, which you can find right on adgogenetics.org. And I think I bored you enough with the Caprikorn Farms breeding program, and thanks for listening.